So I just want to take you for a walk around my home gym today. We'll do a quick walk around and then I'll stop and do some individual records of individual bits of equipment laid out. But this is the home gym as it sits day in, day out. So as we walk in on the left-hand side, we've got the old requisite pump mirror, an adjustable FID bench and a whiteboard down in the corner there. We swing around front and center as a deadlift platform with a Rogo high power bar. And then pride of place in the center of the gym is the RML 690, stack of attachments hanging off it. We'll have a look at those in a second. In the back corner or corners are some homemade deadlift platforms. Standing up there is my current flat bench. We'll talk to that one in a moment. A plyo box in the corner. On top of that plyo box is a weight vest, adjustable weight vest from Aussie Strength up to 20 kilos. Some Ironmaster adjustable dumbbells which go up to mid-60s. Including the adjustable kettlebell. Again, that one will get a sub-record in a second. If we step back, we've got a 1 to 10, 12.5 to 25 fixed hex dumbbell set. A plate tree with a couple of barbells and some assorted loose Olympic plates. A speaker unit. A good pickup, so a body solid adjustable cable stack. It's not perfect, it's not a full cable crossover, but it does the job for a compact space. Some assorted cable attachments, which we'll have a look at shortly. We step back into the cardio space where I started the video standing. And the cardio space is the neighbouring dining room, according to the floor plan for the house. Alrighty, so the RML 690 power rack, the centerpiece of the gym, as it should be in any home gym, in all of its magnificence. To be honest, I love this power rack and it also shits me off. So I'll run through why in each direction to start with. So here in Australia, the RML 690 is probably the most customizable 6-post rack that you can get. Rogue Australia doesn't have quite the accessories that Rogue US or Rogue Europe have, but it still has a fair spread of accessories, some of which I've displayed on this rack. So 43-inch main cross members throughout the mid-squat section for front to aft and for side to side. It comes with the pin and pipe safeties. You can see that I've upgraded it there for the drop-in strap safeties. A worthwhile investment as far as I'm concerned, even though here in Australia they're a little bit over $300. So it comes standard with the fat skinny pull-up bar that you see up the top there. I've also upgraded to the, I think, X43M multi-grip cross member. And then I also upgraded one of the back cross members, which is normally a single pull-up bar, to be a 2-inch by 3-inch cross member, so that I could use that one for some of the monster storage hooks and hang some of the accessories that you can see I've got there. Comes standard with 4 band pegs. I've got 2 up top and 2 down the bottom. When I am doing banded presses, I'll use the ones down the bottom. Otherwise, I tend to just use them as storage hooks. As you can see, I've got a Rogue Matador stored up the side there. Thing's quite solid. It's had me hanging off it with probably 60 kilos strapped around my waist. Holds up fine. As indicated, it's a 43-inch front to back open spacing for the squat section or bench press section as it's currently set up, which is more than enough room. To be honest, 30 inches would probably be fine. What I don't love is the fact that in being 43 inches side to side, as well as having a 3-inch side post, you end up with very limited clearance. Now, as it currently stands, I've got an Australian Barbell Company bar taking pride of place here in the center. And as you can see, I've got a couple of inches spare on either side. But the minute that you throw the Ohio power bar in there with the narrower collars, it's punishing for a walkout and you've got to be perfect in your placement. Rounding the rack out down the bottom here is a landmine. So just the standard pin landmine from Rogue. Fantastic bit of kit. I don't use it anywhere near as much as I probably should, though I do have the landmine handle, which I'll show you when we swing around to the back half of the gym a little bit sooner. Up in my storage section at the back here, I've got a not very often used belt hanging off to the side, just hooked into one of the holes. I've got a reactive slingshot. I've got a few assorted belts in here. So we can see a dip belt, an old Madison County 6-inch tapered belt. I've got a 4-inch double pin or double prong belt in there, a dip belt. I've got some gangster wrist wraps, a hip circle. Hanging up in there, I've got a Donnie Thompson bow tie. It's the red bow tie, so the formal bow tie. I can recommend the bow tie, can't recommend the formal, prefer the standard bow tie. And then I've just got some bands hanging up there. So these get used for a little bit of reactive work. As you can see, hanging up inside the rack, also a little bit of supporting resistance for the pull-up, and then a little bit of warm-up work as well. So we've had a look at the power rack. We'll have a look at weight plates now, so I'll jump backwards and forwards. So what I've got here is 300 kilos of Helion bumpers. So I believe they're an Australian company. They're a whole lot like the Pendlay plates, so I'd assume that they've come out of the same factory after Pendlay has closed down. So I've got 7 pairs of 20 kilo plates and 1 pair of 10 kilo plates, either side of the RML 690 on the plate storage pins there. And then up top, I've just got some rubber coated muscle motion plates, which are from potentially Australia's worst service gym company, Gym Direct. So the rest of my Olympic plates, stand fast, the stuff that I've got stored out in the shed, is just here. A pair of 20s, pair of 10s, pair of 5s, pair of 2.5s, pair of 1.25s, and then a fractional set. I don't use the fractional set a lot. I do a little bit of micro loading for shoulder press, bench press, and the like, or alternately when I'm coming into a competition cycle. But otherwise, those fractionals tend to sit there for most of their life. Having had a look at the rack, the plates, let's now have a look at the dumbbells before we have a bo peep at the barbells. So what I've got here is the Ironmaster 120 pound adjustable kit. So as you can see there, I've got the standard handles, which I think are at 75 pounds, give or take. And I've got the larger add-on kit currently installed to them. They're the thicker plates there with the longer pins. This set's fantastic. I don't use it as much as I would. I tend to just use it for heavy dumbbell bench pressing, rowing, things like that. It's got plate storage nestled in underneath there. I might do a separate video on this one down the track because I really do like these and think they're a fantastic staple for the home gym. And then down the bottom I've got the kettlebell handle. So that's the kettlebell handle from Ironmaster, which is designed to use these same plates. A fantastic closeout to that set. I couldn't recommend the Easy Curl bar or the straight bar. You're much better off with Olympic gear as far as I'm concerned. But this kettlebell is a fantastic extra piece for $130 here in Australia to add on to the Ironmaster set. So rack, plates, dumbbells. Now we're on to my plethora of barbells. You may note from the walk around before that these barbells just kind of sit haphazardly around the gym. On the deadlift platform, in front of it, either side of the rack, in the built-in barbell storage on the plate tree. I don't have a gun rack. I don't own this house. It's one of the first things to buy when we move into our new house next month. So I'll run through them front to back, then I'll give my opinions one by one, the goods, the bads, the uglies. So up the back there, we've got the ATX safety squat bar. Next in line is the Australian Barbell Company Deep Fine Black Oxide Stainless Power Bar. Next up is the Rogue Ohio Power Bar in the black zinc and chrome. We've then got a Muscle Motion 20 kilo bearing bar, an Armatech multi-grip press bar, a Muscle Motion 180 centimeter 15 kilo bearing bar, and then a Muscle Motion bushed curl bar. So goods, bads, ugly otherwise. So the ATX safety squat bar, in my opinion, is the second best safety squat bar available in Australia, behind Rogue's safety squat barbell. This one's about $350, $380. The Rogue is $750 here in Australia. So considering value for money, I think it's the best safety squat bar around. It's got slightly narrower shoulder pads that we see on Elite FTS and on Rogue. So it sits actually on your traps and shoulder interface, not on the outside edge of the side delt. Fantastic bar, fits inside the rack, so it's not like the chrome ones that have a tapered curve point and slide backwards and forwards off the J-hooks. Absolutely can recommend, would buy again. It's my second favourite barbell inside the gym. The next up is the Australian Barbell Company stainless steel black oxide power bar. fantastic. It's Australian made. As far as I'm concerned, it beats the Rogue 7 days out of 7. Fantastic power bar. I've had it for quite some time. It's only about $500 for the stainless steel version, mind you, or the stainless collared version, and it's fantastic. Deep fine knurling. It's a lot like an Eleiko. Really nice barbell. Next up is the Rogue Ohio Power Bar. I don't rate it. The collars have a little bit of slop in it. The knurling is relatively consistent, but I don't think it's deep or fine enough to give you a good grip without chewing the hands a little bit. And it's got some manufacturing knurling defects along the collars. Rogue was good in sorting me out with a store credit for those manufacturing defects, but nonetheless I'd expect better of the premium manufacturer across the world. Next up is the Muscle Motion 220 centimeter bearing Olympic bar. It's got bearings, spins fine. It was cheap and nasty, and it has held up as such. It's got a bend in it. It's got a fair degree of surface corrosion, even though I look after my barbells. I could probably strip it back, but I don't want to take the chrome with it. Next up is the Armatech multi-grip press bar. Can't really recommend it. It was extremely cheap, maybe $130. The knurling was inconsistent, which is why you see it wrapped in grip tape, so that at least I get some degree of consistency from the grip. And it's not quite perfectly symmetrical, but it does the job, which is to say that it sits aside and never gets used. Next up is the 180 centimeter 15 kilo bearing bar. It's a pretty surprising little bar. It's a cheap one, but it's staged straight and true. The corrosion is only superficial and brushes off with a wire or nylon brush and a little bit of 3-in-1, and it spins quite well. This cheap curl bar is exactly that, a cheap curl bar. Nothing to write home about, but it didn't cost much. Alrighty, so right to left here for benches, I've got the Muscle Motion commercial flat incline bench. The thing's absolutely solid, weighs a heck of a lot, but it's nice and stable, adjustable in about 15-degree increments, I guess, from 0 to 90 degrees, or 85 degrees, give or take. We've then got a relatively cheap, I think it's a Sweat Central flat bench. It's not real stable, but it does the job. It's had my weight plus 120 kilos in the hands and held up fine. It's nice and light, moves around the gym easy, but it's going to get replaced in due course, which is why I've left the Rogue Donnie Thompson fat pad out here for you. So hopefully in relatively short order, oops, sorry for that autofocus. In relatively short order, that Rogue Donnie Thompson fat pad will be making its way onto a west side bench, which will take pride of place in the new gym. Unfortunately, I'm getting a lot of video noise here, but nonetheless, we'll crack through. It's probably because we've moved out of the powerlifting center of the gym and into the bodybuilding pump unnecessary accessory section of the gym. So as you can see here, I've got a Body Solid Dual Pro cable stack, whatever they call this thing. I quite like it. It's not the biggest, best piece in the world, but it's quite compact. Has a little foot platform there, as you can see, for doing seated rows. The cables are a 16-piece stack, approximately 20 pounds per handle, with about a 1 to 2 reduction. So realistically, you're looking at about 160 pounds, give or take 70 to 75 kilos per hand for each of those cable stacks. I picked it up for relative steel, repainted it from white to black, and it's looked after me for a little while, so I'll have that for quite some time yet, I imagine. Now to have a look at the accessories, there's got a few more in the tub over there, but I just grabbed out the main bits that we use, and I'll run through them. I'll call them out by brand where I think that's important. Otherwise, I'm just going to mention them. So it's not a cable attachment here, but I've got the Rogue landmine handle that I mentioned before. Fantastic, big, bulky bit of kit. The only problem is the offset between the center of the barbell, as you can see there, and the handles is quite some way. So you're not losing a bit of range of motion if you like to row from a relatively parallel torso to the ground type position. Next up, I've got an ATX row handle. The thing's fantastic. It's got a grease-packed rotating bush there, as you can see, as well as a rotating eye bolt. So you get no restriction and no kind of transfer of that restriction from cable to hands. really smooth movement. I've got another cheap handle which I use a little bit for T-bar rows as well. Occasionally use it on the cable tower for close grip pull downs, neutral close grip pull downs. I've got just a El Cheapo straight bar handle, again grease pack bushing. Another straight bar handle, this one's slightly wider and slightly thicker by virtue of the rubber surrounds, again grease pack bushing. A tricep rope, the obligatory tricep rope. A couple of ankle straps, which actually get a fair bit of use for both myself and the wife for abductor, adductor and glute training. Just a single isolated cable handle, loud as heck, squeaky as anything, which is why I've also got a couple of foamy handles off a band set, but they're absolutely fantastic. A V-bar for tricep push downs and the like, and then a wide lat pull down handle, and this one's got the rubber stoppers on the end, just so that when it swings around it doesn't beat up the house or the cable tower. Alrighty, into the cardio space. Most of this stuff needs no introduction or description, but I'll give it a short one anyway, just to close the video out. So I've got a Concept 2 Model D with a PM5 monitor. Fantastic bit of kit. We use it a lot for warm-ups or even for cool downs. Don't use it a huge amount for endurance work. It's not my type of gig. Next up is a recent addition, which is the Rogue Echo bike. Bought that obviously from Rogue Australia here. At the moment, as you can see, we're in winter here. It's not exactly a cold winter. It's low single digits Celsius a lot of the mornings. But as a result, we've added on the wind guard for winter. And then we've got the water bottle holder along with that one as well. And then a mobile phone holder, so you can stream Netflix and the like while you punish yourself on this thing. Speaking of, that's a fairly decent segue. Let's have a quick look over this cabinet. I've got some trigger point gear there. I've got a medicine ball, sorry, not a medicine ball, a Swiss ball, which has been deflated for quite some time. We've got some knee sleeves, knee wraps, things like that down in there. Some assorted handles, some jaw grips, things like that. A bit of a towel rack, and then a couple of slam or dead balls. Up top is a snack station, a few bits ready for competition in a few weeks. A couple of balls, either for some agility work or some TP stuff. And then we've got a TV front and center, so that you can cast. Previously said Netflix. In the back corner there, some assorted knickknacks. We've got a roll-out yoga mat or exercise mat. We've got a fold-out massage table that we picked up for peanuts off Gumtree. And then we've got a relatively cheap ab bench, which I got from a friend quite some years ago, but it's held up fantastically. But a small snapshot of our collective shoes. The wife and I are somewhat shoe files. I guess there's probably a better name for that. And that rounds out our space. Thanks for watching.